Hi, my name is Mia. Welcome to Scrubs and Savings. I'm a 21-year-old new grad nurse documenting my personal and financial journey here on YouTube. And today we are going to be doing my June money reset, where I take a look at all of my May income, expenses, savings, investments, progress towards my financial goals, as well as my net worth. And then I also have to show you guys how much I spent on my road trip to Tennessee. And we're also going to look ahead to my June budget and also budget my last paycheck of May. So I might as well get started right now. In total, in May, I received the most money that I will probably ever see in 1 month, which is $7,678.35. And you will definitely see a theme with all of my income. So I received 15 cents from Google because they had to do a deposit so that I could connect my checking account with my Google AdSense account. I'm not monetized yet, but my accounts are connected and ready to go once I do get monetized, and I am about 600 watch hours away from that. Then I received $65 from my partner's extended family for my college graduation. And it's funny because one of my partner's cousins gave us a crumble cookie gift card instead of cash because she knew if she gave us cash, we'd probably do something responsible with it. So we definitely enjoyed those crumble cookies, and I just thought that was really sweet. Then I received 98 cents from my Apple Card cashback, $775.98 from my hospital job, $200 from my brother as a graduation gift, $9.02 from my Ally High Yield Savings account, $150 from my partner's parents as a graduation gift, $100 from my family as a graduation gift, $5,000 from my parents as a graduation gift, which is absolutely incredible. I go way more into detail about how I feel about receiving this money in my May money reset. It's just an amazing privilege that I have to have parents who have enough money to set me up for a good financial future. Then I received $101.97 from my nursing school job, which unfortunately I will no longer be working at. Then I received $1,175.25 from my doctor's office job. And I also received $100 from the owner of that private practice as a graduation gift. As for my spending, I spent $1,586.63. 54% or $860 of that was to my car loan, which will be paid off at the end of July, which I'm so excited for. Then I spent $254.43 on generosity, $152.21 on my normal giving, and $102.22 on gifts. I got baseball tickets for my partner's birthday, and I also got my mom an orchid for Mother's Day. I couldn't figure out how to make it my travel spending exact here on YNAB because I split the expenses with my boyfriend, and then I don't know, but I know how much I spent on my Tennessee road trip, and I will go over that in a second, but in my YNAB budget, I spent $238.17. Then for my Joyful Life category, or my personal fun spending, I spent $135.97. I spent $47.88 on date night, and that was just the baseball game my partner and I went to. Then I actually spent money in my beauty category. I got drugstore versions of my normal makeup products, and I got concealer, powder, and mascara, and that $37 $9.93 is about how much I spend on concealer alone, so I'd say I saved a little bit of money there. Then I spent $30 on yoga. I spent $15 on a outdoor class, and then I also got a $15 class pack. It's just an introductory class pack. Unfortunately, not all of my yoga classes will be $3 each, but I'm taking advantage of the cheap yoga while I can. And lastly, for my fun spending, I spent $20.16 for going to brunch with a couple of my nursing school friends. I spent $49.69 in my newly named Cost to Be Me category. It used to be my administrative category, but I thought that name was too boring, so I changed it to be a little more fun. I spent $31.71 on an REI membership. It's a one-time cost, but it's still $31.71 that I wasn't planning on spending, but there are a good amount of benefits that I received for purchasing that membership. Like, they gave me a $30 gift card, and I can also get 10% off on everything that I purchase from there now, so hopefully it'll pay itself, and I just hope I don't get suckered into purchasing a membership again. But then I spent $14.99 on my gym membership and $2.99 on iCloud. I have a new budget category called Digital Creations, specifically for my YouTube channel expenses. The only expense that I had this month was $45.20, and I tried out having an editor for one of my vlogs. It was the study vlog. I did really like working with her, but I don't think that spending $45.20 on an editor at this point in my YouTube channel makes sense. And I also kind of felt a little anxious because I lost a good amount of creative control over my video. So even though it was a good experience, I don't plan on having an editor again for a good little bit because I do enjoy the process of editing more than I thought I did. And lastly, I spent $3.17 on my Girls Just Wanna Have Funds budget category, which is just my sinking funds category, and I spent $3.17 on lifelong learning, and this was literally just for a 150-page notebook for while I'm studying for the NCLEX, and I have definitely made good use of that notebook. Then as for my savings, I saved $415 for my apartment fund, $5,575 for my income replacement fund, as well as $50 for my Christmas fund. I also enjoy tracking my progress towards my financial goals each month. It just helps me stay motivated to achieving my goals. And if you're a returning viewer, you can see that my financial goals spreadsheet looks a little different. I just wanted to make things look a little prettier, so I made a brand new one. So my first financial goal of this year is to make $40,000 in gross income, and in May I received $7,551.66 in gross income, and I wrote a little note on where all of that money came from. So I'm 40.1% of the way to my goal of reaching $40,000. Then my second goal for this year was maxing out my Roth IRA, which I have done this month. Now, I feel like I kind of cheated to this goal, but my parents had a 529 plan for me, or a college fund that I can roll over to my Roth IRA. So we moved $6,000 from my college fund to my Roth IRA. to help me max it out, and I should be able to do that for the next few years or so. My third goal for this year is to have $3,000 in my apartment fund, and in May I contributed $415, so we are 16.2% of the way to my goal. So we're a little behind on that one, but that's okay. Then for my income replacement fund goal, my goal was to reach $7,500, and I have surpassed that with all of the graduation gifts. So I currently have $7,625 in my income replacement fund, and I will continue contributing to my income replacement fund to stay on track to have $12,000 in it by the time I move out in April of 2026. My fifth financial goal is to hit a $100,000 net worth by the end of 2025, which is quite ambitious. But in May, my net worth increased by $16,066.90. A lot of it due to the graduation gifts and the rollover to my Roth IRA, and I will actually share my net worth in 1 second. And then for my goal to be car loan debt free, I still have $2,992.36 left on that loan, but I am 74.3% of the way to that goal. So I've definitely made good progress on my financial goals, which a lot of it I couldn't have done with the generosity of my family as well as my partner's family. I also like to keep track of my 50-30-20 split. It's kind of based off of the 50-30-20 rule, which is to put 50% towards needs, 30% towards wants, and 20% towards savings. But I also keep track of how much money I put towards my investments as well as my debt. So for the month of May, I spent $726.63 on wants, or 5.3%. I put $6,040 towards savings, or 44.1%, $6,000 and $6,060.13, which is the Roth IRA rollover, as well as the $60.13 contribution towards my 403b at my hospital job, or 44.3%, and $860 towards debt, or 6.3. So as for my net worth at the end of May, my total assets were at $83,516.96. My total debts was at negative $3,624.25. So my net worth at the end of May was $79,892.71. And there was definitely a huge jump in my net worth this month, as well as my assets, and my debts have been decreasing nicely and slowly. I also include the current balance on my credit cards and my debts, even though I don't carry a balance from month to month, and I have never paid a credit card company a cent in interest, and I never plan to. I also have this little chart comparing my assets to my debts, which I'm really liking what I'm seeing there. And then for my asset breakdown, 13.8% is in cash, 30.8% is in physical, which is my car loan which is my car and my land in the Philippines. 55.3% is in my retirement accounts, and 0.1% is in my down payment fund. Then for my debts, obviously my car loan takes the cake on that, and then I have $631.89 on my credit cards. I also have a little wealth multiplier here, which calculates based on the current amount of money I have in my retirement accounts. If I invest $1,000 per month for the next 45 years at a 7% investment growth rate, my money could grow to $2.7 million. And before I finally get to budgeting my last paycheck of May and looking at my June budget, I want to show you guys how much my partner and I spent on our Tennessee trip. So our original budget for the trip to Tennessee was $2,000 or $1,000 each, and we actually spent $2,105.57. And the main culprit was our accommodations, which we spent $1,306.22 on. And the reason why we went over on accommodations was because we kind of splurged a little bit on our cabin in the Great Smoky Mountains. It had a gorgeous view of the mountains, as well as a sauna and a hot tub, and it was in a more private area compared to Gatlinburg, and I definitely think that is worth the splurge. And we paid for our accommodations in February, and then to keep our budget still around $2,000, I wanted to spend less than $800 while we were on the trip, and we stayed almost exactly on budget. So in total on the trip we spent $799.35, which is 65 cents under budget. I don't know how we managed to do that, but that's kind of incredible. So we spent $356.13 on food. We spent $198.55 on eating out, $114.93 on groceries, $28.70 on alcohol, $13.95 on ice. Then for our activities, we spent $53.50 on kayaking, $1 as a tip for some performers at a bar, $20.77 on baseball tickets, and $4 for some water bottles at the baseball game. And lastly, we spent $67.31 on sundries. $50.68 of that was for bear spray, which we definitely can't go without, and $16.63 on toiletries, which also included a first aid kit. So I'm very content with how much we spent on this trip, and I'm absolutely shocked that we just barely were under budget for this trip. And it's funny because we weren't even planning on going to the baseball game, and we still remained under budget. So that's wonderful. I think that's May wrapped up, and we have to budget this $405.26 from my doctor's office job. So everything's covered for the month of May. Obviously, this is the end of the month, so we're going to skip ahead to June. All of my monthly expenses are funded, as well as my true non-monthly expenses. All of my fun money categories are funded, and none of my goals are funded yet, but with this $405.26, I'm going to put $397.73 to my income replacement fund to stay on track to meet my $12,000 target. And with this $7.53, I could start putting it towards my other savings goals, but instead I'm going to do something a little fun and add it to my wish farm. Or it's not in my wish farm, but I really want to purchase a new microphone for my YouTube channel. This little guy has done me so well, but I feel like sometimes the way I'm talking isn't very natural because I'm holding this microphone instead of talking with my hands, and I genuinely can't move this while I'm talking because it messes up the audio so much. So I want a wireless microphone to allow me to speak more naturally to you guys, and that's definitely something I've noticed in the last couple of videos, that the way I'm speaking doesn't sound natural at all, and it kind of makes me seem a little inauthentic. So I want to, of course, improve my audio, but also be a little bit more personal and sound more natural to you guys. So $7.53 of this will go to my Rode wireless microphone fund. And I actually want this microphone so badly that I want to move money from my budget category so that I can purchase it right at the beginning of June. So I'm now starting to put more money to my YouTube category because this is such a fun hobby of mine and I want my money to show that, as well as I really hope to get monetized soon. Of course, I'm doing this for fun, but it would also be really cool to make some cash on the side. So I'm going to put more money to reinvest into my channel. So $100, the $100 I'm going to set aside for YouTube each month, the money that I have set aside for June will all go to my microphone. So then I have $131.41. So now I only need $96.38 so that I can purchase it right at the beginning of June. So for eating out, I don't have any plans yet, but I am probably going to eat out with my friends again, which I'm perfectly content with. And I don't have any activities planned this month, but I think I might want to get myself a coffee or go out for lunch on my own this month. So I'm just going to move the $15 for that. Will it probably be on an overpriced salad? Yeah, and that's what I want to do, so I'm gonna do it. Anyways, and then for yoga, I still have 4 classes left on that class pack, which should cover all of yoga in June. So I'm going to move all of this money to my microphone category, and then I only need $16.38, which I will be stealing from my clothing category because I am not purchasing any new clothing this month. And now I have enough money to purchase that microphone. I am so excited. It's so hard for me to give myself permission to spend money on big ticket items like this, but the greatest thing about this zero-based budgeting system is that I get to choose what my priorities are month by month, and I'm choosing a microphone for my YouTube channel as my priority. And I also want to move $25 from my big ticket category, not to my wireless microphone, but I actually have a list of all of the shows that I want to see within the next couple of years that are coming to my city. And the first one that is coming to my city that I want to go to is Phantom of the Opera, which I would love to see with my mom and treat her to that. And I'm thinking $200 should be a reasonable amount of money. If not, it's going to be her Christmas gift and it's going to come from the Christmas fund. That's it for this monthly money reset. I know it was such a long run, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. It really supports my channel, and I would love to hear what you guys are looking forward to do with your money in the month of June. Bye guys.